off for alternate attacks here, Lethal, and he's using the Dragon Riders, but a couple of Inferno Dragons mixed in.
Yeah, we didn't actually see the Dragon Riders that much in the last war. We saw it once, maybe twice. I think it was actually just the once in the end. It wasn't really too successful, which was a little bit of a shocker, really. We didn't see it until the 7th attack, but look at how aggressive this attack is, Judo. Already pushing in to that 4 o'clock compartment, just taking out the scanner shot and the Expo, and most of the defenses there. And the Queen on that 3 o'clock side with that Unicorn just now looking to take out that Eagle artillery. This is very, very fast, very methodical, and Sir Iron, he had a bit of his ups and downs with his execution on the attacks, but this is looking very good so far. Just needed a bit more caution on how he uses his next spells.
Certainly is, and look at the delayed deployment of the Battle Blimp, only just coming in now, waiting for the Grand Warden ability, because he wants to be able to pop that on the Inferno Dragons as well. Was it delayed a little bit too much? Oh, he pressed it early on. Of course he did. That's what you do in the Inferno. I was waiting on the ability there, and I was questioning what was happening, but I guess I completely missed the start of the attack. That is what you should not do, but the Town Hall does go down. He's still got a good few spells here, and he obviously waited on the Blimp until a lot of the traps had already been set off.
And still, the Queen managing to stay alive this long, but not too much longer though, because it's just too much DPS for the hill to handle. Dragon Rider's going to be going on up, but again, it's going to be in the same circumstances. Still just that AD Inferno Tower left. Surely they're not going to lose this. No, they will not. It's going to be pushing in, nicely done. Great spells, or great position of it as well to make sure to clean them both up. And very impressed from that by Sir Iron. I know he's had a few odd attacks here, and I wouldn't say odd, but you know, they haven't been as smooth as he'd like them to be, because he's had a few 2-stars with a high percentile. So, but I'm glad for him, he's redeemed himself a little bit in this matchup, going first in this war and being able to get that first 3-star for alternate attacks.
A great start for them, and I mean, the reason I missed the start of the attack, I was double checking stats, because we know that Tomp and I did beat alternate, and it was a 14 to 13 star war back then, so it was a very high scoring war. It was only play day 2, so the teams have had a lot of time to scout each other out through the various matches, and alternate attacks starting perfectly. Sir Iron actually only got a 96% 2-star in the previous war against Tomp and I, so definitely off to a better start, you could say now, Lethal.
Absolutely. So now, Riak, mentioned him earlier on, just a fantastic attacker for Tomp and I. I was already doing a fair amount of damage into the center, but you can see on the right-hand side as well, the Ice Golems coming out to just to help the King Bear and the Yak, just to tank that damage. Will be going into the right compartment, looking to try and take out that cannon, the defensive Queen, so the cannons and the scatter shot as well. You can see already the Aussies come out very early, and I like this as well, just looking to try and get rid of a lot of these defenses out on this right-hand side as quick as possible. The Queen comes out from the southern side on top to not only take out these towers and cannons, but also the Eagle artillery on that southern side. But I don't think he needs to worry too much about that. It's going to be looking at the ERC to push towards that as well. So already some good damage across the board from that 3 to 6 o'clock compartments.
Very unfortunate not to get that Wizard Tower. One more strike from the Royal Champion would have done so. But you can see the Battle Builder repairing that back up. The Queen will... she's not even going to. She's down. I thought the Queen in conjunction with the balloons down the bottom might have got the other Wizard Tower, but actually React is flying into this side. So it's not the end of the world, but he is going to have to rely on a couple of balloons moving up to the Wizard Tower and not necessarily have as much force on the multi. You can see that. Nice little pack moving into the right-hand side, but he has carved out a huge chunk of the base with obviously the lightning in the center and the heroes on that right-hand side, with now the Battle Blimp pushing all of the way through, hopefully, to the Town Hall.
Yeah, I was wondering when he's going to use these haste spells, but it looks like he's going to use a few of those loons to go from that 10 o'clock side instead, trying to take down that AD. Needs to bring out a couple more loons now, and still has to take down that Town Hall, and you can see a few more. Even the AD is still alive on that 10 o'clock side. It's so much investment from that one bit of defense, and you can see on the right hand side as well, also just getting cleaned up. The haste build comes out a little bit later than required, but already though the damage has already been done. 50 seconds left, still got a little bit to play with here, and you can see what's left so far. Still got the Expo, still got another one behind it actually being repaired. This is not exactly what he would like to see happen. It's a little bit of a shame. A lot of investment on so many other bits and pieces. The only thing you could do now is to try and get a best percentiles possible. Still get some of those structures on that 9 o'clock side as well, but it's just not going to be enough. A little bit of a shocker here, I feel like, Judo.
Yeah, I feel like his opener just didn't go as planned, didn't quite get the value. That standing wizard tower is actually a lot more difficult than he expected because he had to send in another group. And the idea of that was to keep the main force of balloons out from the middle of the base. However, they just tracked over the top anyways. They set off a bunch of traps, took a huge amount of damage, and he just didn't have the force towards the back end. Maybe he could have used his spells a little bit quicker in order to get a higher percentage, but I feel after the hero dive, there wasn't a lot he could do in order to fix the attack because the balloons were kind of stuck over that area, if you will.
Yeah, that's why I was questioning using his haste spells a little bit earlier. But when I saw a few of the loons coming in from the 10 o'clock side, I was like, oh, okay, so he's going to approach the AD from a different angle, even though he'll probably take a lot more damage. But he used a few loons, they didn't take out the AD, used a couple more, then he had to use a couple more again. It was just a huge amount of investment here and there, which just wasn't really necessary. Maybe some better position with dispels, like you rightly mentioned just then. But maybe actually he could have saved those loons for the northern compartment and be able to continue to pinch the rest of his base, which is a little bit of a shame. It's not something Tom and I wanted. And the worst bit was it was quite a low percentile. I think it was 77% overall, which is not something you want to see. And that's going to give alternate attacks a huge advantage coming into this war. And now Vale is going to be coming in for alternate attacks now for the second attack. As already they got that first triple earlier on for Sir Iron. The Queen's going to be coming out strong to make this push on towards that right compartment as well towards that town hall.
Well, we did see the hit rate of the Queen Charge Dragon Riders at the start of the stream, and it was approximately 60%. I think Vale's hit rate with this strategy is significantly higher because he has been tearing apart bases, sometimes using this Queen Charge variation, other times using the Hydra itself. He's already found the Tornado Trap here, which is actually pretty helpful, to be honest. It doesn't rotate the Queen in towards the Giga Poison, actually rotates her outside of the Giga Poison, to be honest with you. So very helpful because now he knows the Dragon Riders are not going to have to deal with that. But he's struggling a little bit here, having to use the spells to keep the Queen alive. Charging into an Expo and the Grand Warden statue is a huge task, but Vale looking pretty controlled at the moment.
Yeah, do you know what? He's doing all right. He's looking okay. The Queen continuing to cause a bit of havoc here, going towards that northern side. So it's going to be a good funnel nonetheless. Looking to go to that northern compartment now to deal with that defensive Queen and the scanner shot, especially. But how's this funnel going to work out? The Queen's got to tank a lot of his damage here and not blame him for the spell coming down just to make sure it's a absolute guarantee to get the best value possible. The healers will have to deal with one of those traps, but could be okay for now. But that's where the bulk of it's going to be causing a fair amount of issues. But you can see a lot of the attack come from the southern side as well, especially those Dragon Riders taking out the scanner shot, trying to take out that Inferno Tower as well. Does manage to do it in the end, but Eagle Artillery is actually focusing on two of those Dragon Riders coming in, as you saw. So still looking too bad so far. The Queen's staying alive on that northern side. The Stone Slammer coming in from the 9 o'clock position as well to try and deal with some of these towers and that Eagle Artillery as well here, Judo.
Very quick reactions from Vale here because the Dragon Riders had not one, not two, but three Seeking Air Mines after them, and he quickly pressed the Warden ability to tank through every single one of them. The Dragon Riders' main downfall is the Seeking Air Mines. It does so much damage. I feel the quick reactions to that Warden ability have arguably helped him get this. Yes, he set up the pathing beautifully, but he only has one Dragon Rider left, and that could have easily been history if he didn't press that Warden ability. Time as well, ticking down quite low. So had he have lost them earlier on, I think that could have been a defense. And beautiful attack, beautiful execution. But for me, beautiful adaptions in the middle of the base there really helped Vale get this one done. Fantastic 3-star.
Yeah, Vale's going to be very happy about that. So far, 2 triples back-to-back for alternate attacks. First one being Sir Iron. It just shows he don't only build bases, he absolutely destroys them as well along the way. Great stuff from him, and Vale just continuing to do absolute work as well. So looking at a potential perfect wall, we've seen quite a few of them from alternate attacks and against a lot of these teams, no matter who they're against. Tom and I had probably, it wasn't exactly a dream start, probably one of the worst starts possible, but hopefully they can recollect and just be able to now rectify what's occurred over the past and be able to just move on and reset their mentality. Because, they had a lot of pressure coming into this. And not only that, though, not a huge amount at the same time. Like we've already said in terms of the standings, they need to win one war out of the next 3 or 2 or 3 they've got coming up left. And Alternate Attacks, it is a big deal. It's a huge amount here. They might just not want to give anything away at the same time. There's a lot of indicators here in this matchup. And you've got to feel really, there's a rivalry between these two teams, of course. But if they let pride get in the way too much, they may start revealing some of these strategies we may see next week leading to the ESL Mobile Challenge Finals. So obviously they'll probably calm it down a bit, not go full throttle, but we'll see in these next few attacks. But 77% isn't ideal in that first one now, as now we'll see if Tomponai can now recover from that first attack.
That is what they want to do. And they just want to get all of the 2 stars out of the way now. Let's get them out during the challenge phase. Then we can bring in the 3 stars for the finals. That's Tomponai's plan, or I would like to think so. Yeah, as we have Almualin moving in with the Queen Charge Dragon Riders, though, we'll be taking inspiration that Vale just destroyed one of their own bases with this, and he's diving into the town hall, which is always nice to take down early, and then trying to walk the queen around to this other compartment. Doesn't have a jump spell. Sometimes we do see Tomponai charging the queen right into the middle of the base. Looks like he's just going to try and flush her around the outside. Does have the battle blimp selected, although we did have Vale using the battle blimp and actually switched to the stone slammer for later on in the raid. Queen just about to get into this compartment, though. He's already set off the funneling. Wizard will help to assure the queen moves into the middle. And so far, so good for Almualin.
Absolutely. Having to use that rage spell just to keep her alive a little bit, just to be a bit bulkier. Another one's going to come down again, but does get cleaned up. And, maybe he was looking to put it down a little bit earlier, but there was just too much DPS for her to handle. What makes matters even worse here, the AD is actually doing a huge amount to these healers. I'm not too sure how many was taken out. I think it was just the one in the end. It needs to be 100%, but it doesn't matter though. The RC is just continuing to try and wreak havoc. The invisibility spell is going to help keep that RC alive, so the defensive RC does get taken down. Wow. And now here comes those loons and Dragon Rider, as well as the Warden coming from the southeastern side, and a Stone Slammer now going towards that south compartment as well.
Oh, it is going from bad to worse. He committed a lot of spells towards that Royal Champion as well, but the healers kept getting picked off from the Seeking Air Mines, clearly a baited area up top. It does mean the Dragon Riders have a little bit of an easier ride down the bottom of the base, but with no Queen and no Royal Champion helping out, I really can't see them having the power to get through this. The good thing about the central multi-target Inferno is even if you get one Dragon Rider, as you've seen, split off, it can take it down. And you know what? He's still got a lot of Dragon Riders, but I think even if they could get through the defenses, he just doesn't have the time now to clean up, Lethal.
He really doesn't. 30 seconds left here. Going to be a very difficult task. The worst bit is the minions is actually following suit with the rest of the pack, so there's going to be no split and almost no chance here, considering the circumstances he has to put himself through. It's just not going to be enough. But again, this is not what I expected from Tomponai. It's I must say, probably the best phrase for it is just a bit uncharacteristic of them, because they're known to have such talented attackers coming into this. And don't get me wrong, they've almost guaranteed their spot in the challenge finals, but didn't expect it to go like this. But it's all because of the very beginning with that queen. You can see he was using that rage spell and everything else to try and keep her alive. Couldn't keep her alive. There's just way too much DPS in that compartment, got taken down. And at the same time, the healers were just getting destroyed by that AD as well. There's only 2 left. The RC was trying to stay alive, using an invisibility spell. Managed to stay enough to take down the defensive RC, but couldn't get enough value after that as well. And the healers were just cleaned up straight afterwards. It was just such a shame indeed. And not something you normally see every day here, Judo. First attack, 77% 2-star, and the next one was 87%. So literally they're hoping for a miracle at this point, considering they are against alternate attacks.
We knew alternate attacks were coming out to win this war. Despite them already qualifying into the finals, they want the #1 seed. That is for sure. I mean, any of these teams do, right? But it does mean that alternate are throwing everything at this. They do not want to go into the finals knowing that they've lost twice to Tomponai in the challenge stage, because that just has a lot of psychological impact on you as a team. Even if you know you have the ability to beat them, it really can impact you at this level. So I think alternate attacks are literally putting everything they are or everything they can into this war to assure that they tie things up moving into the finals.
You make a really good valid point as well, because I think, you know, with that kind of feeling, like just being able to at least get that one war win over Tompanai to make up for that last war as well, it helps them ooze confidence. And you see that alternate attacks are definitely the most planned in terms of their course of action with these execution of their attacks. It's very quick, very fast, very aggressive. It's like they've attacked that base 100 times before we go live and, you know, actually going for these in terms of their opponent. It's actually crazy how well prepared they are. We've seen, of course, like Yo-Yo, he hasn't even been up yet. He's done some fantastic methodical attack, but such a clean, fast-paced as well. And nowhere near time fail in the slightest. And you're right, though, it's not going to help Tompanai go into the finals, considering how they see this matchup just in general. They see it as though, oh, it's fine, we'll just, you know, do our best, but won't reveal anything going to the challenge finals or what we don't know. But considering what we've seen so far, alternate attacks are looking very, very strong. And this win, like you said, will also guarantee their first seed going into the ESL Mobile Challenge finals. And oh, look, speaking of Devil, we're going to be seeing him as the third attacker. Normally we do see him as one of the last ones, but it looks like he's going to be revealing himself a little bit earlier on than required. And we're going to see what shenanigans he's going to get up to here, Judo.
Yeah, hasn't quite brought his huge concoction of spells that we've been used to. We've been spoiled too much, Lethal, in previous challenge days. Yo-Yo going with the Queen Charge Dragon Riders. We might not have seen as many of those used in the first war, but certainly a lot more now in this one. I will say that alternate attacks, they haven't lost a match since the opening days, have they? So they will want to move that momentum into the finals as well. I feel this is a nice start from Yo-Yo. He's used the Headhunter successfully versus the King. So far, not having to commit any spells to the Queen. He's actually just stripping out the area in front of the Town Hall, which is interesting because he's got the Stone Slammer. I wonder if he's trying to get to the 50% and just send that in. But actually the sweeper's in that region as well. So I'm interested to see what the plan is for the Town Hall here, Lethal.
Absolutely. Good use of spells so far to take down that compartment, and the Queen coming in as well. Looking very good with the King just going into the right compartment to make sure that that AD is cleaned up, and now the next spot is going to be that scatter shot. It's going to be very, very important going into this. And you're absolutely right, you know, seeing where the Stone Slammer is going to go, depending on the circumstances, and now already the Queen have to deal with a fair amount of defense there. She's going to be there for a while. We're going to leave her to it and just see what's going to be happening further down south, as already the King just flying on through into that compartment, taking out that scatter shot. Warden's will be coming out with the Dragon Runners on that southern side as well to try and take out this Multi-Inferno Tower, and it looks like it will be able to. It's been beautiful stuff so far. The healer's being brought back once again, just pushing it back, but that's not going to stop anything. That's going to pretty much delay the inevitable, as the Queen still continuing to be on the warpath on the northern side, taking out 2 Expos. But look at the southern side as well. Still all the Dragon Riders left alive, as well as the Yak as well, and looking towards to finish up this last compartment with the AD, the Eagle Artillery as well. And there's only a few bits and pieces left, and there we have it there, Judo. There's the Stone Slammer. A little bit late, but you know what? It doesn't matter at this point because he's already done a huge amount of damage nonetheless. This is going to be a great attack so far from Yo-Yo.
Oh, it is an easy 3-star at this point. Beautiful job. It always is a little bit nerve-wracking to me when people walk the Queen in one direction and then make her switch, as he did with the King, to force her all of the way back across to the Town Hall. It was done perfectly, and he saved onto the Stone Slammer, just in case the Queen decided not to go over that area. You never know what she has in store for you, shall we say. So holding on to the Slammer until the final moments was his plan B for the Town Hall. Honestly, I don't even think he needed it. He shredded that base so well. Pretty much all of the Dragon Riders left over, and alternate attacks following in the footsteps of MCES in the first war so far.
Yeah, that was, again, just disgusting to watch. It's just annoying how good he is as an attacker. No matter what base he's up against, he just makes it look easy, and it's just so annoying, but it's just a pleasure to watch every single time, and everyone's probably thinking, why can't we attack like that? But I don't know, you're going to have to ask him, as already the spells are going to be coming in, just taking out a few bits in the center, and a couple of loons coming in from that 2 o'clock side. The Blimp's going to make a A lovely little appearance here to see if they can find any traps. Those loons have already made sure of that. Just going to be dropping into that scanner shot compartment to try and do as much as possible. We've done a fair amount there, taking down the Expo and the scanner shot there. So going to be pretty pleased with that so far. As already Meteo now as already you can see here, but he's already had a couple of 2 stars from his previous teammates, but a 3 star is absolutely required here to keep this as close or as competitive as possible.
Certainly is. I feel this is a very good start, actually. I quite like how he had the Valkyrie in the composition so that he could take advantage of the clan castle there. You can always use that against small, packed out clan castles or even skeleton traps if they pop. And he's really been able to take apart the base in sections at the moment. Lightning spell for the middle, the Yeti blimp. Now the heroes moving into the compartment next to that. He's still got the queen ability here as well, although she is standing inside that devastating poison of the town hall. So she's not really going to get too much further here. However, he's pretty much got what he needed. Would have been nice to get that sweeper, to be honest, but he can still power on past that. And that's pretty much all he had hoped to gain at the start of this attack.
Great positioning with these loons. As already the tornado trap. Trying to keep things at bay as much as possible. Sending another lava hand from the southern side just to take that damage from the AD. Trying to get the loons in there as fast as possible. Good spell usage as well. Fantastic positioning actually from them to help be able to catch up and also not just join the rest of the pack, but be able to take up that AD as fast as possible. Great timing as well. The lava hand literally just got finished up there, and you can see now the RC keep an eye on that as well from the 3 o'clock side. It's going to be very important for him to try and take out as much of the defenses in this compartment as possible. But you know what? He's still got some of the spells left, still using those minions to take out the storages on the left-hand side. Only the Inferno Tower and a couple of other towers here just to finish things up, and that's going to be a much, much better attack from what we've seen from Tomplite in comparison to the past couple we've seen. But so far, though, it was very well executed, very well planned as well. It was a little bit shaky at the start, but it seems to be going okay from the get-go from the second half. So good stuff from Tomplite to make sure to at least bag this 3-star coming in. But it does mean with alternate attacks, 3-star the next one, it's going to be very close to being mathematically impossible.
Yeah, I think alternate attacks are going to continue to strike home here and take this war. I cannot see them slipping up with the form that they are, but that does not take away from Tompanai Empire. They had a great attack in the last one there. Beautiful job. And, I mean, the enemy queen was popping off the balloons pretty quick towards the end. Metro had to make a decision there on whether he froze the queen or froze the multi. And I feel he did a really good job freezing the multi. It would have been tempting to freeze the queen where the balloons were taking a lot of damage, but that actually helped not just the balloons, but also the royal champion. And arguably, I think a tough decision, but the right decision, which helped him get the 3-star.
Really did indeed. But let's no mucking around here, Judo. Let's get straight into another attack. Still got 2 attacks left from both of these Titans. There's alternate attacks looking for that perfect war on Tompanai. That's definitely going to send a statement towards Tompanai's way, leading into the ESL Mobile Challenge Finals next in not too long's time now, as the Drags are already coming out in full force with those Dragon Riders and the Warden. The Blimp's going to say hello as well. It's going to be making an appearance here to go towards that Town Hall. And I must say, still going back to it, if alternate attacks do get this perfect war, still sending a statement to Tompanai leading up to next week's Challenge Finals. The Blimp's going to have to deal with that tornado trap. Still, the Loons have to deal with some of this as well, taking a little bit of damage there. Will be able to try and take down this Town Hall. Will it be able to? Has to use that spell to just be able to freeze things ever so slightly. Even though the Loons don't take it down, looks like they're using that drag to finish things up anyway. So good execution so far from Ast. Again, this is what I'm talking about. Alternate attacks, very fast, always dictating the pace. Very, very aggressive, very hard to keep up sometimes. And still, after all this chaos, their spell usage in terms of the positioning is so, so good.
I know you like an aggressive start to these attacks. Ast is just over 1 minute in, and pretty much the base is gone right now, Lethal. I have to say, great use case of the Clan Castle troops, because he used the lightning on all of the defenses around the town hall that could have shot up at air troops. So by having balloons that popped out of the battle blimp first, it meant that the Inferno Dragon could literally just beam up on the town hall and take it down. A very unique use case of the Clan Castle troops, but a very good choice here. And with the Royal Champion ability, still has that freeze spell, does not need it. Over 1 minute remaining. You were talking about, can Tompanai actually bring this back? Is it still possible? Alternate attacks, slamming down with another 3-star. There is no chance now, and it's all weather. They can put a perfect war on the board and actually put a statement to Tompanai for the finals. Or can they actually knock Tompanai into a losing streak? I'm pretty sure Tompanai are qualifying, but Alternate doing everything they can here to try and make sure they do not.
Yeah, they certainly could indeed. I feel like Alternate Attacks now, they were going 3-2 after the first week of plays. I think they're on a 7 or 8 win streak, so probably go to 8 or 9 now going forward. But it's crazy to think they just flick it like a light switch and just be able to turn it on like that. It's just been so impressive so far. And even Yo-Yo coming in as the third attacker, they're probably thinking, oh, they're just making matters worse now, being one of the best attackers early on rather than at the later stages. And even seeing, one thing I am happy with is seeing Sir Iron come back and be able to bring it to the table as well against Tompanai. It's been a bit shaky at times, but I'm very happy he was able to absolutely smash that first base as well. Gave Alternate Attacks a lot of leadway coming into this because he performs so well, and we know what exactly he is capable of. So that's already the 4th attack gone for Alternate Attacks. Pretty much mathematically impossible here for Tompanai, considering the circumstances they've had to put themselves through. But Michael, a great attacker from Tompanai. We can see what he can do, starting off with that queen on the right-hand side.
I'd love to know whether Tompanai are mathematically through. I don't think they are, because they're only 1 win ahead of Tribe and MCES, 2 wins ahead of Penta, who obviously would need to catch them. But a lot of the top teams do play each other, meaning that, there's a good few matches that would have to go in the favor of the other teams for Tompanai to drop down. So I want to say they are pretty much safe at this stage, but this is not the start they needed moving into the last week of the challenge. That is for sure. They have spun things around on that last attack, and so far Michael has created the funnel here. He's got the P.E.K.K.A into the middle of the base. A beautiful Warden ability. Protects not just the P.E.K.K.A, but that Battle Blimp moving through. I'm pretty sure, yep, I've seen this base. The Tornado is in that little compartment. It's caught the Blimp, and he might be able to get it to the Town Hall here. He certainly can. Maybe Michael even anticipated it was there, but decided to drive on through anyway. There's nothing going for the single Inferno, and that could be dangerous here, Lethal, if it doesn't go down. Just as I say that, the Queen gets it.
Oh, the healers have taken so much damage as well from a huge amount of traps in the center, but should be okay so far. Just gonna see what's going to happen in these next few compartments. Still quite a bit left here. Still got that Multi Inferno on that summer side, but as I say that, the P.E.K.K.A was actually directly behind it. Couldn't see that. This is why I wear glasses, as P.E.K.K.A's coming in to go for that next wall as well to take out that cannon, but still we have to see what's left. It's still got that cannon, the AD Expo as well. It's going to be pretty tough, but the RC is going to do the best it can. Still got a fair amount of health so far. I don't think it's possibility as of yet. You can see the Loon coming up from the southern side as well, just to continue to add a little bit more DPS. But look at the time on the clock so far. Still got a minute left, and not really too much defense as of yet. But a lot of these walls are just going to potentially delay the inevitable. And the RC actually manages to stay alive. Doesn't stay alive long enough, of course. Is now the Queen does have that one healer to hopefully be able to continue making this push, but I'm not really too sure. With the amount of walls it's got to go through, and the P.E.K.K.A there, depending on if it can stay alive, because it's only got that one healer as well, because the healer's split.
If it gets the cannon,
sure.
it does.
And it does get it. It does. So 30 seconds left. It looks like it could be okay here, but we're going to have to see. It's going to be close.
I think it could be a 99 because the Queen cannot reach the Builder Hut. And even with the healer, she can get through these buildings, but she would have to go through the wall to get to the Builder Hut. Can you believe that? If only the Royal Champion had have been behind the Queen maybe a little bit longer, she could have indeed jumped over to that Builder Hut. But there you go, 99%. The Queen has to go through the wall. Heartbreak for Michael DP as it's another defense, and that means Alternate will get the win here. But Tompanai, I mean, they just have to keep themselves going because they are playing in just a couple of matches' time again. So they need to be able to spin around this loss and get the victory on that next one.
Absolutely, and look at that. A nice few hundreds on the alternate attack side. Got 4 triples in a row and looking for one more to get that perfect. Tompanai, you know, opposite end of the spectrum, you can see, starting off about 77%. Slowly getting a little bit better. But it's like I said, they've got nothing to prove here. They can, you know, hide everything up their sleeves, save it for next week if they even qualify for next week at this rate. But I'd be surprised if they don't, let's be honest. And, you know, and you've got the other side, Alternate Attack want to send a message. They've pretty much sent that now, going for that perfect war. Could be seen back-to-back wars in these last couple of matches, which would be great to see. But MCES, I'm still a little bit surprised, but not surprised at the same time with their perfect war. Team Elevate having to deal with their defenses once again. But it's not only that, it's the executions from MCES, which you saw in that first war earlier on today. So we are going to go to the final attacks from both of these teams, as Boom is going to be finishing things off for alternate attacks here against React of Tompanai.
And it is the Blizzard Lalo from Boom. It is the attack that he uses probably the most in the current meta. So let's see if he can get this. Town Hall falls nice and early, still getting a bit of damage from the Super Wizards, but he's going to be able to use the invisibility spells for the Royal Champion. Not sure he intended to get much more than that. Maybe the air defense, but there's really nothing else he could have got with the Wizards. So he's obviously taking the invisibilities for the Royal Champion in this hero dive because he doesn't have any healers for the Queen.
Speaking of the Queen, continuing to pushing on from the south side. The RC's coming out as well. To be expected, considering the chunk of DPS that he's going to have to deal with in this attack. And already a huge amount here. The Scalashot's going to get taken down momentarily. The Expo just trying to do everything it can. A couple of limbs coming up from the southeastern side just to see if it can find anything along the way, but also take out some of these defenses. But you can see some of these towers have already been distracted. So it's actually helping out these loons massively, not just to clear traps, but just to give a little bit more help along the way for these heroes. But they would have cleaned up momentarily. The Queen is still alive, as you can see, alive and well. But how long for? Trying to get in range for some of these defenses in the center, but that's not what it was after. And now already coming from the 3 o'clock side, the bulk of the attack now, the Lava Hound going straight towards the AD. The loons are coming to take out the Eagle Artillery and the AD straight afterwards, just trying to take as much damage as possible. But for Boom, it's going to be a little bit more tougher here.
Certainly is. I'm wondering what the plan was. I thought he might have sent the Royal Champion in delayed in order to get the middle Inferno Towers. Managed to get one of them, which is definitely helpful, but he did use an extra invisibility there. He's brought the balloons in from every single angle. They are powering through the middle of the base. Oh, they've gone to the sweeper instead of the multi. Finally get there. Enemy Queen is frozen. Can he get across to that wizard tower? He can. Enemy Queen is down. How did Boom manage to do this? I mean, he lost a couple of spells, and he still has pretty much all of his balloons left here, Lethal. That is the deployment of a world champion and of a player who is pulling in the perfect war against Tompanai. We said they wanted to send a message. What type of message is that? For you, Lethal, I know what you're going to say here, but how would you describe that?
Just filthy, mate. It's just, what can you, what can you say? Just absolutely disgusting approach indeed. And you're right there, they have definitely sent a message saying it's going to be our time, no one else is here, and I think it's a great way to finish things off. And I think it's just more about the spell positioning as well. When I saw the amount of loons left at the very end, I was like, how on earth did he even manage to recover from this? Just, again, great improvisation overall and great preparation once again. I feel like they've got a plan A to Z book here, just coming to some of the scenarios they have to put themselves in, and a lot to speak about, of course. As Chryson now going to be the final attacker for Tompanai. As alternate attacks, they've done their dues, they've done their deed on Tompanai, and they're just going to be waiting now to see what Chryson can do here. He can try and get the 12 star to keep it a respectable war nonetheless. But sadly, due to those first couple of attacks at the beginning of this war, it did not give them any lead weight in the slightest. So a little bit of a shame here, but Tompanai is still looking to try and get one more win on one of these wars in these next couple of playdays to guarantee best spot. But you can see the couple of rocket loons already taking on the AD. The blimps coming in into that right compartment as well towards the town hall, which it does successfully, as the drag coming in from the northern side as well. But will he be able to take down that town hall? Yes, he does. Was getting a little bit shaky there because it would take a bit longer than I thought, but it's going to be fine. As the baby dragon just clean out some of the structure there on that northern side just to create a path, create a funnel. But you can see the bulk of it now coming from the northern side, making that vital push.
The so-called Hydra attack, the Dragon Riders and the regular dragons, and they merge so well because the Dragon Riders attack the defenses, but their weakness is the heroes, the clan castles, since their defense targeting, and also the non-defensive buildings are left behind. Now the dragons, they deal with all of that, so you can see they are swooping through the base in one synchronized fashion. We've got the heroes to the left forcing the dragons into the center. Now we even have the royal champion from the right-hand side of the base, Lethal, looking very good here as long as he can concentrate his fire to the 6 o'clock area. But I think he's got more than enough dragons alongside the hero abilities and even a couple of spells left over to pick this one up and hopefully pull in the 3-star right at the end for Tompanai.
Yeah, he's going to be okay so far. The RC still got a decent amount of HP to work with as well. On top of that, just taking down some of the remaining defenses here, including that Expo. Do you know what? He didn't even need to use that spell in the end because the RC's got so much HP. Oh, actually, it's a little bit weaker than I thought, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that look at the amount of time he's got left. Nowhere near going to be a time fail. Just going to be on cleanup duty, and Chryson is going to keep it respectable in terms of the war count, in terms of the stars, and Chryson's going to not do a bad job indeed in this final attack. So, like Riley said, you can't do much against a perfect war unless a better time, but they couldn't even catch up or keep up in that retrospect from the very beginning. A very shaky start indeed. Hopefully this isn't something which could be a few ingredients of what's to come in the future, but we're sure they'll be a lot more prepared coming in for next week's ESL Challenge Finals if they make it that far. So that is going to be Alternate Attacks versus Tompanai done and dusted. Alternate Attacks with the perfect war and the second